Sai is the one who speaks. Sai is the one who hears. Sai is the maker of this sacred act. Glory to Lord Sai, the God of the universe. Consider Sairam, your brothers. Sairam, Vijay, thank you for the invitation. Thank you for the organizers, for the officers, and being very kind. Thank you for all the devotees. You have been very kind. Your smile is the love that expresses your devotion. Thank you for being here. This is a very important day for you. We are going to speak something that maybe will be shocking for you, because the time is passing and you need to realize your true nature. And the time is God's color. If you lose time, you are losing your opportunity in this life. It's the first time that an avatar have embodied 3 times in a row. And we are here. We are fortunate for that. But it's very important to be aware of that and don't lose time. Swami has spoken about different roads to get self-realization, but some are high, some are low, but all are important. It's like a building that have different pillars. All are important, but some are very, very important. We are going to speak about God. And what is God? If you read the scripture, they say marvelous thing about God. But from now on, don't study the scripture in that way. God is you, and that you is really God. That is Swami message. For that reason, if you read to arrive to that truth, that is false. You don't need to arrive to anything else. You are already that. You only need to get rid of your ignorance of what you believe you are. That's all. It's not elaborate who am I. No, you are already that. And that is very important. Because you don't need to realize anything. Really speaking, of course. You only need to get rid of your feeling that you are so and so, that you are that body, that you are that mind. And that is very important. God, according to Swami, is the I that is inside of us. And that I is our real nature. When you wake up in the morning, you feel yourself. That is the existence. You don't need to ask anybody, I am exist. No. That existence is God, really. But it's obliterated with all the thoughts or the feeling that you are so and so and you need to do so and so. That is the ignorance. But that existence that is inside of you is your real nature. And that awareness of that is I. Is our true nature. And when that is realized, you will live to experience the Ananda of yourself. Not the Ananda of God, the Ananda of yourself. And that is God. It's very different. The spirituality is very subtle. If you lose the subtlety, you lose time. It's very important to stay well informed. Swami said the ABC of the spirituality is always be careful. And that is very, very important. The body is a gift that Swami gave to us. But many discharge the body because they say, I am not the body. Well, that is true. but you need the body. You are here embodied because in the last life you didn't realize God. And you have this body to realize that nature. For that reason, take care of your body. This is the temple of God. And in that body, you realize God. Swami has spoken many times about you have an structure in the spinal column that you need to transform in the reality of yourself. And the human being have that privilege. In all the species around the universe, the human being have the privilege to realize his own true nature. That body is with some structure that you need to know. If you don't know about spirituality, maybe you know about science. The scientific have a dilemma right now. That is matter is a wave form or a particular form. But they have concluded it's a duality. It's wave and form. But the experiments are amazing because when you have the sleep experiment and you pass atoms or electrons or light, that produces a miracle of producing interference, and that is a waveform expression. But if you put a recorder, a witness in that experiment, that waveform transforms in particular form. It's amazing. And it's the gift given to Swami, because when you realize that you are yourself, that is the real witness. And now the scientific, the quantum physics have discovered that Swami has spoken for many years to us. That is very, very important, because the science are expressing now what Swami has revealed. And that is our true nature. Believe in yourself because you have all the power. That witness that testify about you, even in the dream or in the dream sleep, very deep in that vacuum, you are there. And that is the witness. That witness has the power, and that has been discovered by the quantum physics scientists. Okay? But that is related with the energy. When Vishwamitra was on earth, he put it in words what he felt inside. All the mantras that is chanting is an expression of the experiences that you have inside. It's not a conclusion of intellectual activity. It's an experience. And Vishwamitra felt that Bhur, Bhuva, Suvaha. What is Bhur? According to Swami, is the body. Bhur, Bhuva. Bhuva is the expression of the vibration. And Suvaha is radiation. And that radiation is the witness, is the consciousness. And through that, you manage the vibration that produces the miracle of the body. That is the science behind the particles. That expression of consolidation of everything and express the matter. But in our body, there is that matter. When you breathe in and breathe out, that is prana. And that prana is managed by pranayam, that is the consciousness. And that consciousness is the witness that is inside of us. Swami said that is Sachi. And that Sachi is very important because according with Buddhists, to arrive to nirvana, you first need to be aware in the sleep, and that awareness is that such. For that reason, little by little you discover yourself, but the information is first, according to Swami, and after the practice, and after the experiences. For that reason, the breathing process is very important, because you are going to see something that is related to that. Keep in mind that breathing process, that vibration that is inside of you, because we are going to see something that emphasizes what Swami have revealed to us. This is the experiment of Sarah Lazar. Is a very important person in our life, because she studied the brain and do MRIs. And she loved us because she practiced yoga. And one day she asked herself, I want to see what happened in the brain of these guys, because they are very, very nice. And they began to do experiment and made something amazing. He put it in MRIs, many people that meditated, and discovered very important things. Okay. This is the breathing process, and he did that study with the focus on the breathing process. All these discoveries was made with the meditation focusing in the breathing process. Okay. For that reason, it's very important what you are going to hear, because it's related with the breath, with the vibration, which Swami have revealed to us. That vibration moves the body. You move the body and you believe that you are working. No, that is a miracle. That is produced by your consciousness and activate that vibration, and that produces first materialization, and after that you can move. Okay? Okay. This was the first discovery, or the first study that she did. You see here, this is the brain. Okay? You have all there inside. Okay. And this here, okay, is the frontal region. Okay. And observe what say here. In the frontal region, in all the devotees that meditated, she discovered an increase of the gray matter. But that is the region when it's the working memory and executive decision making. And that is very important, because you are all the time in that activities. And if you see a very older people, they lose memory, they lose abilities. And it's for this, because when the years pass, the brain squeeze, shrink, and reduce the gray matter. But if you meditate, you will have this. And what she discovered, that the people that had around 50 years old have transformed the brain in the 25th years old people. Imagine, with only 3 months of exercises with meditation. This is the same region, and this is the conclusion with the control that she did with no meditators. Okay? Okay, put that before. Okay, and until that, that was amazing. But like a scientist, we receive a lot of critics for envy, for others that are very nice scientific. But That is good because that increases the knowledge. But she received a lot of credit for this experiment because she recollected meditators, and they say, oh, that meditators are weird person. Maybe they are with lifestyles that can influence with that. There was a lot of vegetarians, and they say, oh, maybe the vegetarianism is the cause of that. But she did other experiment and to resolve the problem. And she put it in MRI people that never have meditated before. Okay. And did the control, more control it, and put it in the meditation program in the same way with the breathing focusing, and 30 and 40 minutes daily of meditation. And previous, she did that MRIs, and after 2 months, okay, she realized other MRIs, and what found was this. This is a hippocampus, this area, and this assists in learning and memory and emotion regulation. And this is very, very important because there are many people that suffer for depression or PTSD, that is post-traumatic syndrome. And you know that when people come from wars, that traumatism in his life or her life, that produce this process because they lose this control. But in meditator, this grows. You have that with more gray matter. And that is very, very important. The gray matter is here, but the neurons come here. And that is very, very important discovery. Okay. This is very important part. This is temporal parietal junction is here. And that is a perspective taking, empathy, and compassion. And this is Sai teaching in action. Perspective taking means when you are in the foot of the other, when you put in the presence of the other and you surrender to the other and you put in his suffering, and that express the love that you have for other person. That is very important because you are discovering right now that is not only meditation, you have transformation in your own body, in the brain. That is the neuroplasticity that have the brain. Remember, when you studied before, they say to you in the school, the neuron never multiply. And now say no, they multiply. That is neuroplasticity. That is a miracle when you meditate, that you can transform your brain and you prepare your body to help you to self-realization. And the empathy, Swami said that you need to be empathic to develop love. And compassion is expression of love. And if you have that in the brain, develop it, you have the process to develop your love. It's an amazing thing what Swami created in the body. Okay. Maybe you have been cat or dog sometime in your life. That is what Swami said, okay, in our lilas. That is a flight and fight. That is a reaction in the life. All the time is this. Principally the animals are fighting or flying. And this is the hippocampus. This is the amygdala that we are going to see here. Okay? And she discovered this, a change in the gray matter. Okay? He said decrease here, but in the animals, increase. That is a dichotomy. That is different. Why is that the animals increase, but the meditators decrease that area? What happened there? Oh, that is a miracle of God inside of us. That is impossible to believe, because when you put cats or animals or rats, rodents, that is most of the time used, they do a screening and they put in a stress program, and they do a screening before or after that part increase. And even after the experiment, if you put the rodents in very beautiful and happy environment, they keep that and growing. But what happened with the devotees that was meditating and reduced? That is a miracle of meditation. That reduce that area, even you are under stress, because you never lose your job. The guy that was studied continue working in the same environment, but they reduced the matter that was there. And they felt empathy, love, compassion. That was registered. And that is amazing thing. This is science behind Swami teachings. And now you can love Swami teaching because you know that is real. Okay. Ekanta Bhakti. Have you heard about that? No? Who have it here? Hand up? Okay. Some have here, others no. Okay. That is good and it's not good. Okay. This is very important, dear brothers. Okay. First of all, before going inside with this, we are going to say to Brother Umesh, we love Umesh very much because we was very near in our centers for years and working together. Okay, this is the process to arrive to the international web page. Okay, Sathya Sai international web page. Okay, if you go all the way to the right, down to the right, go to Legacy, and go here to Discourses and Writing. Okay, and go exactly to Satya Speaks, and go here to volume 15, and go all the way here to 40, Bhakti, stage by stage. That's what we are going to describe right now. That was revealed in Madras by Swami in 1982. And that was very, very important. That was the year that we know about Swami. And it's very important what we are going to receive, because you say that you don't know about this. Oh, okay. The Kanta Bhakti is an amazing thing, dear brothers. Pay attention to this and be open, because maybe something that we are going to discuss in the beginning can be shocking to you, but be like children, like child, with open heart, because this has been said by Swami, and later you will go there and read by yourself and convince yourself about this. Swami speak about Bhuttika Bhakti.
You want to go back to the slideshow or the PDF?
No, to the yes, PowerPoint.
Oh, the PowerPoint.
Okay, this is the list that Swami said there. Okay. If you see this is almost all. This is below Bhuttika Bhakti. Bhuttika Bhakti is because belong to the body and mind. And all is what we did for years. Okay? This is listening, digesting what you learn, okay? Practicing what you reached and learn. All of that. You can read. Offering sacrifice. Okay. All things that we've seen that are the last Pepsi Cola in the desert. And so when we read the books, this is the most important. And when you read Prema, this is the most important. When you read Karma Yoga, this is the most important. Because all is important. It's like a building. All the pillars count. And that is very important because Swami speaks about different levels of consciousness. If you see the structure of all his discourses, have different levels for each devotee. It's very important that. But this doesn't mean that we are going to discharge this. Be careful. Continue. Because you now know that if you continue, you engross your brain. And you prepare for self-realization. But the most important is understanding. The understanding of the reality, what to do more to realize in this life the true nature of the self. That includes even tapas, okay, that is austerities, japa, the construction of temple, the consecration of idols, everything, almost all. Because these are done by the body and the mind. That is the reason. And when you have something that is done by something, all the consequences is for that something. Very simple, common sense. But you are other thing. You are the self. You are the witness. Not the mind, not the body. And if you believe that something, that is something, gives you the realization, and one thing that is even beyond that, that is a more subtle than the most subtle, is not possible. Because you need to be beyond the mind to realize yourself. In fact, Swami said, the I without the mind is God. The I with the mind is the jivi, the individual. And that is very important to understand that. Swami said, this is the physical. And that means that you will have experience of the physical only. But it's beautiful. Go pilgrimage or do that. It's beautiful. And you need to continue doing that. But remember, there are tools. Not the last success. The last success is inside you, is you. You are the temple of the movement trying to realize God. Oh, God is trying to realize himself. In that way, is lost. He needs to remove what he's trying to realize and realize itself. The other thing is ignorance in the mind, trying to looking for something that is outside of you. Being yourself inside of you, but when you realize inside, you see yourself outside. But if you're looking for outside, you're losing time. Because you first need to realize yourself, and that yourself is everything, including the Maya that is around you. Swami said, even though one may be immersed in meditation and experiencing vision of such idols, these have to be classified under this first type, seeing all these experiences arise out of the body, mind, and intellect, which are transient and not of permanent nature. Very simple. Common sense. But continue doing the other, but knowing this. Okay? That is very important. Don't lose in the Maya. Swami said, this body has to perish, and hence experiences arising out of this body will also disappear with the body, of course. That will be on earth, and you will continue in the subtle bodies until you embody again. But you lose that opportunity of that life. And when avatar is on earth, that is a privilege. You need to have all the sarada. Sarada means all your effort, everything. Jesus said, with all your heart, love God, to realize Him. For that reason, Bhuttika Bhakti, Swami said, nevertheless, this type of Bhakti is necessary at the first step, only the first step. Because our God with form, you need to realize God without form. For Sai devotees, the most important of the avatarhood is this time. Because body of Swami is not with us in physical form. It's only in the energy that is inside of us. He is living in us, and we are Him. And that is very important. Swami said, Ekanta Bhakti, all of this is in the web page. Okay, download that and read it with all your heart. Ekanta Bhakti is a subtle state achieved by effective control of the mind and experiencing one's inner self. Nothing else, nothing more. Your true nature. Okay. Swami described there how to use that meditation. That Ekanta Bhakti is a state of subtle mind, when the mind is so subtle that you lose even the feeling of the body, even the feeling that you are meditating. You need to be meditating until you forget that you are meditating. Meanwhile, you are seeing you meditating. You are in the mental state. You need to lose the body, the mind, and arrive to a point when you don't find anything else. Everything is lost. For that reason, Swami said that all of that is like a forgetfulness state. The mind, the body. You need to forget in some part of your life. And realizing that there remains, that is your eye, the hand that is inside, you begin to realize your true nature. But you need to have the stronger tools to do that. And if you use your breathing process, you can arrive, like many yogis have arrived like many riches. That is the reason Viswamitra put that in the Brahma, in the Gayatri Mantra. Because he felt that, he realized that. Swami said that the best time to do that is in Brahma Muhurta, that is 3 to 5 a.m. This is very calm moment, and you can practice there. Be alone as possible, and if you are with others, be separated, because you can develop the energy that inside of you, that is the Divine Mother side, that all the riches, all the yogis enter with all the heart. Okay, that is very important. Remember Buddha. Buddha used this to realize he was in the banana tree and was meditating, focusing only in that breathing process, and realized the nirvana. That is very important, because when you see a person on the soul and you see is he breathing, if he's not breathing, you say, oh, he's dead. That is the expression of God in some people. Very easy thing, common sense. For that reason, if you use that express God itself, you can realize your true nature more easy. Very simple thing. Swami said, God is very simple. Don't complicate it. If you elaborate too much, you are in the mind. And the clue is this, is according to Swami, you need to reduce the breathing process. Be focused there and begin to reduce the frequencies until you arrive to 2 or 1 frequent per minute. Okay? When we manage that, it's very difficult. Okay? But that is possible. And that is an amazing thing, because when you develop that, the mind begins to disappear. The subtlety of the mind begins to be expressed. And in that moment, the kingdom of God is revealed to you. That has been used for many saints, many riches, and it's so sacred that was hidden for years. And Swami has revealed for everybody. Do this every day and see the results. The practice is very important, but the result will give you the happiness to continue to arrive to the joy that is the Ananda that is inside. Swami said this is very important, because when you are in that practice, the mind is wavering, of course. The same whatever other meditation, yoti meditation or whatever thing. But if you have this, that putting the tip of the tongue in exactly like this, okay, in the rear part of the teeth, that helps to control the mind, and you can focus in the breathing process. More easy. And when you focus there, you can control it and begin to do slowly, slowly, slowly. But it's very important that the same amount that you inhale is the same amount that you exhale. That is very important. This is not classic pranayama. It's not classic pranayama. It's ekanta bhakti. You need to keep there. And Swami is very, very focused in this, because this don't damage the lungs. When you do Pumbaka, Rechaka, something that you have not a master that guides you, you can harm yourself. But doing this is a regular breathing. You're only going to reduce the frequency little by little at your state. Don't be hard, okay? But do with all your heart. And as you do that, you will see the results. Swami said, experience divinity in this way. Ekanta Bhakti alone will help you. On any other path, you may experience visions of different types. These are nothing but hallucinations and products of imagination. Okay? Enough to say. It's shocking, isn't it? When I read that the first time, I wrote a letter to Swami one time in all the way near to Swami, and was asking to practice a Ekanta Bhakti. I seated, and Swami came direct to me and took the letter. And I began to practice this. Practice truth, and you will open the kingdom of God. Okay, but this is the beginning. Now come Ananya Bhakti. Okay, but to arrive to this point, you need to develop the experiences there. When you begin to express that Bhuva, Subaha begins to be a reality. You need to feel it, to realize that nature that's inside of you, the divine mother that is inside of you. And you begin to know your real I. In all the times, in the waking state, in the dream state, in the dream deep state, and you realize that all that states are Maya, are illusion, that only you, like a witness, is there. But that witness in the beginning is such. When you begin to have experiences, and by the way, when the Divine Mother arises in you, that never stopped until you realize that you are Shiva, the consciousness. And that is the way that all the rich are looking for. And Swami have given to you like a gift. Without danger, you only need to work very heavy with all your heart. When you realize that only you and nothing else exists, the vibration of yourself begin to appear inside of you, and you realize that Ananda, that you are yourself, and begin to live yourself inside of the others. And you will remember Jesus Christ once said, love is to others like I have loved all of you. Only when you love yourself and you realize that the other is you really, you begin to know that reality. And remember that is like what is passing in your brain. Your brain is preparing and giving you the opportunity to realize that. Do all of this with all your heart, and you will see the results. I have compressed this as much as possible to give a little time at the end because I know that this is a very scripting place. If you have any question, any doubt that we can clarify for you, we are at your order. Okay, there are two things. Maybe you know everything, or you know nothing. The love of God is not limited. Buddha said sometimes that when you live in that love, in that ananda, is so intense that sometimes it's impossible to affront. That doesn't mean that it's bad for you. No, it's because you want not go out of that experience. But you need sometimes, like a bodhisattva, live to share with others. Come down from that state of consciousness to help others, to share that reality. Because the others is you. In the beginning was Swami alone, and Swami was love. And he said that love was so intense that he wanted to multiply to love more. And he divided and did the Maya to love. And now we are returning to that love that is inside of us. And this is our gift for the centuries. We are already that love, that state of consciousness. We only need to get rid of the ignorance that we are other things and realize our true nature. But be careful, do that in this life, because the avatar is with us in 3 incarnations. It's very important.
Sorry. How we can identify the divine experience inside of us, with the mind or with the heart? Because you explained me the heart as more neurons than brain.
Can you repeat that question? I don't think most people heard it.
Yes, she's speaking about to identify more with the head or with the heart, because the heart have more neurons inside. And that is a very important intelligence that is there. And Swami revealed that the ancient riches was looking for in the spinal column where is exactly that jyoti of vibration of intelligence that gives the life. And they discovered between the 9th and the 12th vertebrae. And that is the Anahata chakra. And that is where you experience love. And according to science, that produce even hormones that give you that environment. When a lady is delivering, is producing even a hormone that produces well feelings. It's amazing, the heart. The heart is an expression of electromagnetic field that is measured with meters from its center, and that produces a globe around you. You will feel everything of that if you put in practice what Swami has said. You are God, believe that, but you need to experience yourself. It's not only you think that you are God, and that is of no use. Of course, that information needs to be so imprinted in your memory that is repeated all the time. Of course, that helps, but you need to realize that. And focusing in that feeling of love, you can realize God more easy, because when you develop that love, Swami said that the heart is a switchboard. And when you meditate and the Divine Mother arises, you recognize that switchboard. Because Swami is the only master that I have heard, and that is my experience, that with love you arise the Divine Mother. And don't be afraid of that, and that word, Kundalini Shakti, because it's your gift. And Swami, what is Swami? Shiva Shakti. And we have that opportunity, that Shiva Shakti is on earth. And we can realize that we are Shiva Shakti too. In all India scripture, the most difficult to be accepted by a master was a master that was a Kundalini yogi or a Kundalini practitioner. Because it's so amazing, because you can develop a lot of siddhis, a lot of things, and develop the realization very, very speed. I know that many people are thinking right now, oh, we have many years doing this. Oh, I in the beginning have the same experiences. But if you do what is proper in its time, you are now more purified for all the practice that you did in the past. And now you can do things that prepare you to go higher. And that gives you self-realization with the grace of Swami, of course. Because at the end is the grace of Swami. That is the last step. But Swami said, give one step to me, I will give you to you 100, sometimes thousands. Doesn't matter. It's the Divine Mother and Divine Father that is with us. And that is very important. Okay.
Saram, Dr. Edelio, thank you so much. I do have a question of yoga techniques, like the classic yoga techniques of Patanjali are well documented. That goes back. So Patanjali Yoga, actually Swami has stressed this too, starts with purification,
Yes.
purity. We're all working towards steps to get to the beginning of that, because it's such a difficult path.
Yes.
So what I've heard is beautiful. The summary is, keep doing what you're doing. Keep practicing your path. We talked about service, adoration, illumination, this retreat, that's the theme. And keep practicing whatever path works for each one of us.
Yes.
Keep practicing that. But this Ekanta Bhakti, achieving that state through simple breath control, can help us speed up this whole process, experience Swami's love, share that love, and expand that love, which is what Swami talked about. And you mentioned the landmark discourse in 1982, volume 50, volume 15, in Sathya Sai Speaks, and we'll put that out there for people to read.
Yes.
And I think that's the summary of what I heard is, this is Swami's way, like he's done with everything else in his advent, of making things easier for us.
Yes, because you are prepared right now. Same to what you did in the past. You need purification. And one important purification method is the food that you intake. Swami said one time in an interview, silently to many people, oh, you see, there are Indians, they are pure vegetarians, and they feel very good. And the other Western, they feel very bad because they eat a lot of bad things. But Swami said, oh, but they eat onion and garlic. According to scriptures, there are sattvic food, rajasic food, and tamasic food. All that grow on the earth have more rajasi and tamasic. Some have some sattvic, but there are a chapter apart in the Vedas for onions and garlic, because they are very rajasic. If you pretend realize God with your mind, it's very difficult. It's a monkey mind, according to Swami. You never realize God in that way. You need to purify your mind. And the only way is to reduce that energy, that wavering. And that comes from the food. Swami said, the food that you intake gives you the energy of the mind. The liquid part that you intake gives the energy to the vibration of the body. For that reason, when there are people in the soul, you give water, no food, because water is energy. But the food is very important, because when you put it to meditate, you only are going to see your thoughts that you feed with the food that you intake. And that is very important, because you're giving weapons to the are again that you are fighting. And it's very important. Okay. For that reason, good food, according to Swami, is the most important. Sattvic food to purify the mind. After you intake sattvic food, you pray the Brahmarpana, because the last step can be eliminated with the Brahmarpana. But take care of all the chain. The one that cook is very important, because the thoughts impregnate the food through the vitreous that are, and that produce thoughts when you take that food. For that reason, when you go to India and you visit a brother, the most sacred part of the home is the kitchen. Nobody can enter there. It's not a good devotee. When they say, come, see here, it's because they love you and they know and recognize you, the purity. And that is, okay.
I'm glad I'm hearing that, because I know that garlic and yeah, I'm following always for years Baba's teachings with the food and everything. I try my best to do that, but I know also that sometimes we high blood pressure or something. I know that garlic helps sometimes, and if there's an emergency, you can go there and drink it and you'll be fine. But I never heard this related to the mind, which is very important, just like you say all the time, because the connection to the mind, and realize the mind and help us, go further in the spiritual.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
That's correct, and that is very important. Do all your effort to reduce the rajasic, because when you meditate, you have the pattern of thinking. When you begin to reduce that rajasic, you see the transformation, and that gives you illumination. When you serve, you need to develop love. The serving is not to serve itself. According to Swami, is to develop love. And when you develop love through others, you can realize God. But if you do automatic services only for service, and you're not working the real nature of the service, that is to develop love, you are losing your time, but you are acquiring good karma, of course. Okay, but now you need to realize God. You need to do both things. Have good karma, but at the same time use the others. Seeing at their eyes and see the reflection of yourself inside of the others. And the other It's serving you to realize yourself that you are God. It's not you that are serving the others because the other have nothing. No. That is a gift given by Swami, that some are pure and they give that chance to you to realize God if you approach with love. The eyes are very important. All the masters when see the witness inside, that is a consciousness, is see through the eyes. When you do experiences, you will see yourself like you go out through the eyes and contact the world. And that experience is amazing when you feel that you are the witness that produces everything around you. But if you have a rajasic mind, arrive to the first step is difficult, and to the other step is impossible. For that reason, be humility inside of you, and do all with all the sincerity. Spirituality is pure sincerity. You can show to others whatever you want, but in the solitude of yourself, is you alone with yourself. And that is the only thing that counts. The sincerity was your working, your practicing, your transformation, your effort.
The meditation is good for release the pain in the leg because my friend has a lot of pain in the leg.
Oh yes, yes. When you do meditation, you lose the connection with the body. And the pain is an opportunity of sadhana. When you have pain, try to practice. Focus inside of you, in your breathing process. If you do that with all your heart, you will realize that the pain is gone or reduced, but never will be the same. It's only when you put your attention. What is the attention? The attention comes from the soul, from the self. The only that have attention is the Atma, the self. And that attention, when you change, you are producing miracle. What have discovered the science? That if you study the light and you put attention, what is attention in an experiment? Put a recording to see in what slits go the electrons or the channel passing through the light. That's transform everything because it's God in action. That is a miracle that every day is passing. But seeing the miracle inside us is difficult because we have the mind active. If you reduce the mind, you begin to see the miracles of God through you. And that is a reality that will give you emotion to transform, to continue working. But remember, when you was born, Swami gave a garland. And in that garland is the minutes, hours, days, years of life that you have. And in that time you need to realize your true nature. Don't forget that. The Buddhists have a technique. It's mindfulness meditation for death. They are remembering all the time that the death is there. To have encouraging to transform, to work. So I mean, don't say that, but that is in Buddhism. The Buddhists do that. And the real thing behind is that Buddha said to that, don't lose time. Swami said, don't lose time. Kala is time. If you lose time, you are losing God. And that is very, very important. Be sattvic, dear brothers. Be sattvic. This is amazing. But if you don't have a sattvic mind, that is not the realization of the self. Believe that. It's our experience. You need to be very careful in the food. When we lived in India, even the chapati, use the sun to cook it. We was very, very careful. We put it in practice, everything. Be careful and do that if you want to have experiences. Experiences is the only thing that have importance. The other thing is passing cloud, like Swami said. Be sincere. Okay? The time? How is the time? We have. Huh? On time, okay. Perfect. The time is.
The meditation is true, it's very easy on the realization for the woman or for the man.
Okay, Swami said that the most powerful are the women.
Oh, very nice.
The women have more power than the men. But the men have very strong form of consciousness too, and there is opportunity to everybody. The mother have the love very easy to develop because they are mothers, but the man have a heart too. Of course, there are opportunity for everybody. Okay, dear brothers, the best for you. Blessings towards you, and the best wishes to realize your true nature in this life. Don't lose time, and be prepared to see your reality. It's amazing. Don't lose time. Ramana Maharshi said that if he know that reality before, he had more stress to do the best to arrive to that reality. And by the way, one devotee here is from Ramana Maharshi devotee. When you adore the divine form with form, you have hallucination, illusions, according to Swami. For that reason, appeared in the life of Ramana Maharshi, Ramakrishna Paramaharshi, sorry, that yogi, Tatapuri, that initiated him in the Advaita career to realize God with form, without form. And in that way, he realized the true nature of God. And that is very important experience. Okay? On Sri Sai, realize God with right form.